Welcome to episode 47 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And we're venturing into new territory this week. We have moved on from Batman the Animated Series.
It is done. We are never going to speak of it again.
No more TAS.
Nope, TAS.
It's all gone.
Over.
Now we're on to STAS.
Nope, I'm not
Superman,
down for that.
The animated series.
Not down for that.
Yeah. It was interesting going into this because it's very different than the animated series.
I mean, obviously, it's a completely new show.
Yeah.
But it's... outside the art style, you almost couldn't make a connection between the two.
Yeah, like they could very much exist completely separately and it would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, then you start to understand why like they did a shift from the original animated series to the new Batman Adventures to kind of bridge them a little bit closer so they could start doing the crossovers and that sort of thing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was fun going back into this. I haven't watched it in years. You actually had not seen it at all. Before, right?
I'm just gonna get this all out now so you don't have to just hold it over my head through the entire series. I know very little about Superman outside of Justice League and JLU and the 2000s animated movies and Superman Returns.
Yeah.
And Man of Steel.
Yeah.
That's a longer list than it sounds like.
And Smallville? Did you say Smallville?
Oh, and Smallville. I do own the box set of Smallville because, who needs real money? I don't know anything about Superman. I never watched the 80s movies, 78
yeah,
and 80s.
70s into 80s, yeah.
I did watch the Fleischer cartoons.
Okay.
But never watched, the 40s live action series. I never watched that.
Okay.
40s, 50s, doesn't matter.
50s.
And then I've never seen this.
Okay.
So and I also don't, I've read 2 bad Superman series. In comics.
Wait, which Superman comics have you read?
Sorry, 1 bad, 1 good. I read the Flashpoint series.
Okay.
Which isn't even a full series.
No,
it's,
I don't think
a
so.
mini story.
Yeah.
And then there's one, I think it's called like Superman Hope that came out.
I don't think I know that.
5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
And it's bad.
Is
There's
it?
a reason you haven't
Okay.
heard of it. It's like a weird alternate reality, but it's not.
Okay.
They tried to make it like an alternate story where it's based in this world, and a kid from Kansas is named Clark, and so everyone makes fun of him because they compare him to Clark Kent. Mm-hmm. And then he later finds out that he is he is Superman.
What?
Yeah. So
What?
they tried to make Superman in this in our world, and
Okay.
how that would work, while Superman is also a comic book character.
That sounds really bizarre. Do you remember who wrote it?
Not a clue.
I mean, I can look it up.
I can see the cover. It's an all-white cover with a kid with a backpack. This was post me just binging all of Smallville.
Okay.
So that was the reason I got this series.
Superman Hope? Are you sure it's called?
No, I don't think that's what it's called. I'll find it while you start talking about stuff.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there are some good comics. I mean, people often criticize Superman as like, oh, he's too powerful, he's super hard to write for. And I think that is true. I think he's at his most interesting when he's paired off with other heroes. That's why it's great that we're eventually going to get to like Batman, Superman crossovers into the Justice League. That being said, I think there are some really great Superman stories out there. Mm-hmm. The Earth 1 stuff is pretty good.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
I've heard pretty good things about all of Earth 1.
Yeah, I have the Superman Earth 1 stuff back home. I'll bring that down eventually. You should read that. I was going to say another great Superman story is like Injustice, but that's also him with the whole Justice League. Mm-hmm. So it's like just singular Superman stories. There's a few good ones. There's one called Last Son that is not set in the Richard Donner. Those are the original movies. Richard Donner movies. Not set in that world, but it draws a lot from that. That's a pretty solid story. I guess. We'll get to it. We should do tiny bit of news. There's really not too much to talk about.
Yeah.
You texted me about some news involving Andrea
Heartbreaking.
Romano. Yeah.
When I read this, I don't know if you have the same thing, but after last year, anytime I read a celebrity's name in like a headline,
you're like, oh, they're
I
dead.
immediately think they're dead.
Yeah.
So I see Andrea Romano and
She's not
panic.
dead.
She's not dead.
She's not dead.
Her career is dead.
Aww.
Sorry. She's retiring.
Yeah. So 2 different things.
Well, when this podcast comes out, she will have been officially retired.
I think so, yeah.
And that's very sad because, she's been a part of everything.
She has, though, yeah.
I think in the article that I read that she said she's helped voice direct 6,000 episodes of television.
I thought I read something that said 10.
It could be more.
Yeah.
But it's like she has been a part of so many amazing series that it's...
Series is?
Yes, series is. Don't start with me today, Chris. It's been a long day. She's been such an integral part in not only this franchise, but all of animation.
Yeah,
and it's amazing. She has this. She has, for me, Avatar, and that's always going to be my connection to her.
Yeah,
and
I mean, no, you could honestly say that she shaped modern animation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think the article I read was that she was retiring from being like a voice casting, voice directing, but she would still be involved somehow. I'm not quite sure what that'll be. But obviously she's incredible, and without her, we wouldn't really have this whole universe. Yeah. So best of luck to Andrea Romano in her retirement, and we hope we get to see her do other things down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other bit of news I had, obviously there's just a total lack of news now because of Comic-Con, and we had so much to talk about last week. The only other thing, actually a lot of people have been like emailing me or texting me about this, is the rumors, and I tried to see if I can get this confirmed somewhere, but I couldn't really. The rumor that Ben Affleck has signed on to do the Matt Reeves trilogy of Batman films, which will then lead into a Batman Beyond film featuring Ben Affleck as really old Bruce Wayne.
Okay, I remember briefly reading about this.
Yeah. Again, I tried to see if I could get it confirmed somewhere that actually happened. I think right now it's still a rumor. I don't know how I feel about that. I love Batman Beyond. I've always had secret aspirations, actually not that secret of aspirations, to write a Batman Beyond movie. Another friend of mine, Jonathan, who was on the podcast not too long ago, same with him. So, someone texted me, it might have even been him, was like, how do you feel about this? I'm like, well, if DC had proven that they actually had their shit together in terms of sticking to the slate of movies they propose, if they had made good movies, I would be excited about that. But since they haven't, I'm just kind of going, meh. Even if they announce a Batman Beyond movie that's supposed to happen 4 solo Batman films from now, I don't believe it'll actually happen. So I'll wait to see until it does.
Who would you want as Terry?
I don't know.
Mr. McGinnis.
I don't know of someone off the top of my head who I think would be good. I would like to see them cast an Asian actor as Terry.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that would be cool because you don't have to just. Well, okay. Within that too, I'd also want them to ignore the. Wait, can I spoil Batman Beyond?
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who's listening to this probably knows that, like, at the end of Justice League Unlimited, they, like, oh, Terry's actually Bruce's son. Super stupid. Great episode. That part of it's really dumb. I would want them to ignore that and just have him be, like, a normal kid who Batman comes across and recruits, or Bruce comes across and recruits. And so, in that regards, I think it'd be cool to have, like, an Asian, like half Asian or something like that character.
Well, I feel like they tried to do that with Nightwing because there was a big push for Steve Wan. Right? The guy from Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
He had a huge push to be Nightwing.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah.
Did they ever announce who was doing that? I just remember
no, they haven't cast
dozens
Nightwing
and
yet.
Dozens of lists about which sexy butt we want.
Oh, that's all I really care about.
Yeah.
It's good. Just whoever they cast has got to have that Nightwing ass.
I just want Matt Bomer.
Oh, my God.
So badly.
He would be amazing. I think he's a little too old at this point, which makes me sad. But yeah, he would certainly fill out that suit quite well.
Very well.
Yeah. But I think that's basically it for news. Not a lot this week.
Yeah.
So
we also, timeline-wise, we recorded the last episode like
3 days ago.
72 hours ago. Not much has happened.
I know. It gets kind of crazy. So yeah, not that much has happened, but we're recording like almost a full week beforehand. So something amazing will happen. Some huge reveal will happen between now and Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we're like,
and we'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it next week. We'll be super late on, as we always are.
Yeah.
But it's fine, because we have a decent amount to talk about in regards to Superman, because
we have 3 episodes.
We have 3 episodes, yeah. But, I mean, these aren't dense episodes.
No, but they don't feel... They never felt like that dragging.
No, it's weird, because they don't feel like they drag, but also didn't feel like they... Like, I don't have that many notes written down for what happens. Like, not that much actually happens in them, but like a lot happens with a lot of like little moments and lots of.
It's a nice origin, I think.
Yeah, and
that really plays into the difference between this and Batman because BTAS. Because if you remember, I'm gonna work it in.
BTAS.
If you remember, the first episode of BTAS was on Leather Wings, where we just jump in and are immediately immersed in the world of Batman. There's no intro. Everyone knows who he is already. We kind of already know who the villains are. they expect you to know everything.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think the timeline works out better for that because Tim Burton's Batman was just 2 years prior.
It's true.
Whereas, Superman 4 was 90?
I don't even know. But, yeah, I mean, Richard Donner's movie was 78.
Yeah.
Actually, let me look that up.
Yeah, it was 78.
Yeah, but I was trying to think then when Superman 2 came out.
Oh, I don't know.
Just keep going. Just keep talking.
But Batman, I think, and you can prove me wrong on this if you want. At this point, and even today, Batman is much more integrated in society.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas everyone knows, at least like 5 villains from Batman.
It's true.
Just to name a random number. You can't really do that with Superman. Like, Batman was able to rely so heavily on their villains to tell the stories. And that's what makes Superman so different, is I think Bruce Timm and Paul Dini realized that it has to be a Superman series. It can't, he has to be the main focus, and his character arc. And a lot of these episodes, from what I've read, are going to be more long form stories.
Yeah,
where they're setting up a lot.
Yeah, yes, that's true. There is more more ongoing storylines. There's more multi-part episodes.
Mm-hmm.
There's more arcs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they introduce slightly more advanced forms of storytelling. And I don't advanced even a weird word. It's not necessarily more sophisticated or advanced, but more contemporary. Let's put it that way. It's less episodic.
I also learned that I'm very upset with myself that I didn't know this before. A lot of the Superman stories bleed into Justice League.
Yeah.
And a lot JL and JLU. And so I'm really excited to kind of see that kind of behind the scenes now, because I love those series so much, and I rewatch them constantly.
Yeah.
To know kind of where those villains are coming from now.
Yeah, because I mean, Darkseid and Brainiac.
Yep.
Brainiac. Both feature heavily in JL and JLU. Obviously, like in the course of Superman, we're going to introduce to Kyle Rayner Green Lantern, so
yes.
not Jon Stewart, but we're going to
My
get Green
favorite
Lantern.
Green
We're going to get
Lantern.
Aquaman. We're going to get the Flash. Supergirl becomes a big part later.
Cool.
So yeah, it's this. In a lot of ways, this does more heavy lifting to get us set up for the Justice League than the animated series did.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree. I think it is a pretty solid origin. I mean, I was trying to think about it today, and I didn't bother to do research on it. But I mean, we had that whole episode about how many times we've seen Batman's parents get shot. Right.
Right.
I think the number of like films or TV shows that have actually shown like him leaving Krypton and coming to Earth would be the '78 film. Would be this, would be Man of Steel. I don't know if you would really count Smallville, because it starts on Earth and it's kind of like we start with a meteor crash.
You see it.
Yeah, we don't see him. We don't see like Jor-El and Lara actually put him into the rocket and launch him off, which is
not
like,
from memory. You see it being launched.
Yeah, and I think even within his own like movies, I admittedly have only seen bits of Lois and Clark.
I forgot about that series.
Obviously Superman Returns is a continuation of the Donner stuff, so we don't see it there. And then I think in terms of like his direct-to-DVD movies, most of them, he's already on Earth.
Yeah, he's already well established.
Yeah, it's like Superman Unbound, Superman Doomsday, All-Star Superman, Superman versus the Elite. So yeah, like there's far fewer versions of him getting launched off. And I think most of them are actually done pretty similarly.
Yeah. No, so that's the whole first episode of this series. And I thought it was great.
It is.
As you were talking about that, I realized while watching the show that, like, yeah, we see his parents get shot all the time. We see Krypton exploding all the time. But this was such a nice, like, kind of mini story to actually see, like, actually fully flesh out, important characters of Superman. Yeah. And I think it's really interesting to compare Jor-El to Thomas Wayne, and how we see Jor-El is not a perfect figure. No,
like everyone's always telling him, "Oh, you're so arrogant." Yeah, like of course you think the world's going to blow up, but everyone tells you you're wrong, and you refuse to listen to them.
But I mean, kind of playing devil's advocate on that, we also see that he's like this Flash Gordon. Like, can beat up monsters with his bare hands without superpowers.
He goes out to like the ice fields, which I mean, how much do you know about the 78 Richard Donner?
Nothing.
Have you seen anything?
I know the spin around the world. I know the throw the logo and catch Zod.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, like, if you watch Smallville, you've seen that a lot of stuff from that movie has made its way into Superman pop culture, right? So like his Fortress of Solitude is a giant like ice palace sort of thing. So you see that even in like a Batman, you see that in Smallville, in Superman Returns, obviously it's all there. So and the Krypton they show in that movie is like all like a big icy planet, like cliff faces. So the opening section,
I always thought it was crystals.
Well, I mean, there are crystals. Crystals is like their form of technology.
Yeah. That's just how I assumed. That's how I always saw the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, exactly. With all the crystals.
Palace.
Yeah. So when the opening sequence there of Jor-El going to do run some tests out in the ice fields, that was probably a deliberate reference to the 78 film because it has that sort of like rocky, icy cliff face thing going on. But yeah, he's doing some tests and he gets attacked by some really weird monster.
Yeah.
It's like a Jell-O salad with an alien inside of it.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
I would say it looks like a giant cell.
That is a far better description. Because everyone knows what Jell-O salad looks like.
Yeah, no, I can use my imagination.
You've seen that, right? It's like it's in a big
there was
it's in like a big Tupperware, and you got like bits of like fruit or vegetables.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm trying to remember. There's a cartoon that does that joke. I want to say it's Ed, Edd n Eddy. Oh, but it's not. No, it's Fairly Odd Parents, where it's Jell-O and they put broccoli inside. Because then there's a meteor shower and Timmy wishes the whole town is covered in Jell-O.
Yes. Oh my. Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to Butch Hartman.
Yeah, obviously the listeners love when we do live research on our computers. But yes, I found the picture right here. Oh, yeah, because his dad's got like the mom puppet, and she's like, "Oh, you got to eat your broccoli Jell-O."
It's the weather episode where he wants his dad to always be right about the weather. No, his mom, Mother Nature is the name of the episode.
Okay, your knowledge of Fairly Odd Parents is way beyond mine. So, but there's an alien in this. The thing we're actually here to talk about that looks kind of like that.
Mark? Oh no, sorry. They were talking about the alien from Fairly Odd Parents.
What? No, I don't even. Okay, no, never mind.
We're not going to go over Mark.
No.
Yeah, so Jor-El just kind of beats up this alien.
Yeah, it is. It's very Flash Gordon. Yeah, even like the ship he's like floating around on.
Mm-hmm. Where were we? What were we talking about?
I don't know. Jor-El?
Oh, we were father figures comparing Jor-El to Thomas. Mm-hmm. We see kind of an imperfect Jor-El.
Yeah.
Whereas every iteration of Thomas we see is always just kind of the ideal version that Bruce imagines.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we do have some stories where they're like, yeah, Thomas was also corrupt.
Yeah.
But obviously, Bruce never believes those, and he always has this kind of, perfect vision. Like, my father was the perfect person.
Yeah.
And we never get to see any other version of that, minus Flashpoint.
Right. Well, and I think part of that is Jor-El is comparatively a smaller factor in Superman's life because he grew up with Jonathan.
Yeah.
Who is kind of that same sort of thing. He's just like, they're genuinely good. Like, his parents are genuinely good people who should do the right thing, and they instill that in him. So they don't need to have that, like, perfect Jor-El figure quite as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like that we get to spend some time with him. I also like, too, the voice of that is Christopher McDonald. Mm-hmm. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore.
Shooter.
I mean, that's what everyone knows him for. He's been in so many...
Nope, that's it.
So many other things. But he also voices Superman, like an older Superman, in the Batman Beyond episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
When we meet the future Justice League, which I thought was kind of a cool pullback at the end there. Mm-hmm. I also like what they do in this, too, is that Krypton, and I don't know if Jor-El specifically, but Brainiac comes from Krypton.
Yes.
I love his inclusion.
Yeah, he's the Krypton Siri.
Yes, he...
I mean, the modern version of Siri. I guess before Siri, they would have said he's Hal.
Hal,
Krypton Hal 2-3.
Hal 9000.
Now it's 9000.
Yeah, but I like that they include him in here, and like we even get to see that Brainiac kind of has his own agenda because Jor-El has all these findings that the planet's going to blow up, and the Science Council that like leads the whole planet. It's like, oh, what do you think, Brainiac? He's like, nah, we're good. Direct quote.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, and we figure out later that he agrees with Jor-El, but he knows that if the Science Council found out the truth, they would make him try and come up with an evacuation plan. Instead, he's dedicating himself to uploading himself to a satellite so he can get away.
For the greater good, from what he's trying to convey to people.
Yeah.
Like, you can either let me do my thing and you can save all of Krypton history, or you can have me, waste my time with a plan that's going to fail because Krypton's going to explode in an hour.
Yeah, literally within like a number of hours. And Jor-El has his own plan, which is to take...
It's a great plan.
Well, it is and it isn't, because his plan is to send everyone into the Phantom Zone. Because he has built a rocket. We kind of get the idea that they don't have like super advanced space travel in this necessarily, but he's built one that works. But they don't have enough stuff to actually get everyone off the planet.
Yeah.
So he's going to just trap everyone in the Phantom Zone and then put that into his ship. And off
trap
they go.
Is a harsh word.
Well, I mean...
He's going to save everyone by putting them in the Phantom Zone. But, I mean,
the Phantom Zone is also filled with...
the worst of the worst.
The worst criminals. Yeah. I mean, we get introduced to some of them later on in the series. And so that is both a good idea, but I can also see where the Science Council is coming from. Like, that is also dangerous. Because, like, it's this weird, like, not full reality sort of things. It's not like, putting everyone to a lifeboat. They get to hang out there for a little while. It's like... pretty torturous, if I recall, being put in there.
Okay.
So.
But still, I think that's like, as a last-ditch effort, I think that's a great idea. And that's something that I don't know if any other Superman franchise has thrown that idea out there before.
I don't think so. I mean, in the 78 film, in the Donner, we're just called the Donner film, it starts out with Jor-El imprisoning Zod and his two, like, henchmen. What is it? Acolytes? Is that a word?
Acolytes? Yeah, acolytes.
Yeah. Into the Phantom Zone, so it exists, and then that comes back around again in the second one. Oh, no. Zod gets put in the Phantom Zone in Man of Steel, doesn't he?
He comes out.
But they encase him in...
Yes, they do. Because he's the one that causes the planet to blow up.
Yeah, they put him in space dildos, and they launch him into the Phantom Zone.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where that movie lost me.
The space dildos?
Do you remember that?
I thought that's what he get you in the movie.
No. Clever girl. No. Do you not remember that part?
Vaguely.
Yeah, it's like right after like Zod's been like, it's both basically the exact same scene from the 78 film. It's like, oh, and we're gonna send you to the Phantom Zone, and they're like sending these platforms, and it like encases them in a bubble, but it's like long, cylindrical, and like kind of like bulbous, and then it has room for their feet at the bottom, so it literally looks like a set of like a dildo with a set of balls on the end of it.
I'll have to go back with your eyes.
Yeah, with my pervy eyes. I'll bring up a photo next to Fairly Odd Parents Jello.
Yeah,
let me just get to this real quick.
But you brought up Brainiac, which is great because it kind of goes along with my point before of they're setting up this villain that we're not going to see for a while.
Yeah. They set up a lot in these episodes.
Yeah. And it's amazing that they have kind of the foresight to be like, yeah, we know what we're doing. Trust us, Warner Brothers. It's going to be, a longer fight, but it's all going to pay off. Okay, yeah, those are space dildos.
Yeah. I'll put it on the Instagram.
You're not wrong.
Sorry, I interrupted your genuinely interesting thoughts about Superman.
I'm already lost.
Yeah, but they set up a lot. I mean, we get Brainiac in this, and obviously once we have the latter episodes, we get more stuff.
I have a very important question.
Yeah,
that's going to affect my emotion for the rest of this episode.
Okay,
we see Krypto in this.
Oh, that's right, we do. Yeah,
does he come back?
No,
Chris. Are you telling me that they blew up Krypto?
Yeah, they killed Krypto. Because I saw a bit of trivia that Krypto was in there, and then I must have missed him as I was watching the episode. I missed his brief appearance.
Yeah.
Which makes me kind of sad. No, Krypto doesn't come back at all. No.
Chris.
I don't think so. No,
that's fine.
Not that I remember. So, no, sadly not. But, I mean...
I'd rather have Batmite.
Batmite, yeah. Which, I don't remember if we get him or not.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, one thing I did notice... so basically, Jor-El tells the Science Council place is going to blow up. They don't agree with him. He tries to get Brainiac's help. Brainiac's like, "Oh no, I'm uploading myself. You're all fucked. Bye bye." And then Jor-El goes on the run. One thing I noticed is that when he's escaping from the buildings, his lip is bleeding.
Yeah, there's blood.
There's blood. Yeah, I'm like, oh, well, yeah. This show actually gets more violent. And then I realized, of course, it has to, because in the first episode they kill billions of people.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone in the actual BTAS run ever dies, right? They do in the movies, but I don't think anyone in the show ever actually dies.
None that I can think of.
No,
I mean Batman thinks a lot of them die,
right? But we all get to see there's the groan.
Yeah, there's the groan. No, I meant villains.
Right, he thinks
like he thinks Clayface is dead.
He thinks
Clock King, yeah, is dead.
Yeah, but no one actually dies. They do in this, and actually it makes sense. They kind of have to because it's a lot more violent.
Yeah,
yeah, because the whole planet fucking blows up and off Superman goes.
Yep.
So
safe and sound.
Yeah,
and we see the little kryptonite pellets.
Yeah, it's cool. Nice. It's clever. Yeah, we see that those follow him. What did you think in terms of just the overall design of Krypton, like the world building they did there, like the production design of it?
I liked it a lot. I like. Obviously, I say this a lot in BTAS, that I love retrofuturism. And this is a little different. It's more, I want to say, like, I can't think of a better word, so I'm going to say, like, heavenly futuristic.
Yeah.
Where it's more of a utopia.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's conflict, but everything, it's all the rounded corners, and everything is kind of has this sheen and the shine to it. It's like, everything is nice and peaceful here, and look at our architecture. It's all nice, and it's not going to hurt you. Everything here is safe and easy.
There is a Jetsons kind of quality a little bit to it, that it's like, like long spires like flaring out of the top and leading to big towers and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't... I always thought the production design of like Man of Steel was really weird because it's like this weird kind of like semi-organic sort of look to this. This looks natural, but not... Well, I'm not going to call it organic. It doesn't have this weird like fleshy thing going on. I like it though.
Yeah, me too.
It is a huge departure from BTAS, but it has to because the whole alien planet. But do you feel that it helps segue us into the world of Metropolis, which we'll get to shortly? Because Metropolis is very different than Gotham.
Right.
Like that whole world.
I think it does prepare us a little bit. I think everyone also knows, like that's another thing that's already ingrained in our culture, is that that Metropolis is like not a paradise, but like a much more together city.
You've read Hush?
Most of it.
Okay, but you've read the part of it where they go to Metropolis?
I think so.
Yeah, and just like visually it's very different. Like the buildings are like big and tall. It's very bright. It's a really bright city. Like there's no shadows for Batman to hide in. Like he's like just standing on top of a moving train and just everything around him is really bright. It's kind of cool. I like it.
Yeah. The one thing that I do want from this world, I don't know if you noticed this, when they just like knock out Clark or Kal-El.
Oh yeah,
they have this like baby neutralizer.
I think is that a reference to Back to the Future 2?
Is it? I have no idea.
Doc knocks out Jennifer with like this little device and just like boop, puts her right out.
It might be.
Yeah, or if it's not, it's just a great idea. I want one.
Yeah.
My God.
Oh man, if they just had those on planes, that's all I want.
Yeah, I'd be so fucking happy. I did love some of the world building they do. I love that. I always love in sci-fi stuff when everyone's speaking English and they still use like half the words they use are normal. They have to say other weird things instead.
Like Zetus Lapidus.
What?
So I needed one Xenon reference. Xenon Girl of the 21st Century.
I know the show. I never watched it.
Oh, it's a movie.
I never watched it.
It's a DCOM.
Clearly, I never watched it. But I was referring...
It's a trilogy, Chris.
Oh, Jesus.
Zetus Lapidus, Chris. Get it together.
I thought there was a TV show with like a... Doesn't matter.
No.
I'm not going there. What?
Protozoa. He's the rock star for us all.
God damn it.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
I was going to say, what I liked about this was that they keep referring to like the police, but also when like one of the ships is going to crash, the police like, oh my God, I hope his crash bag's ready to go. Like they don't say airbags.
Yeah.
But they still say police, or like, oh, he's going to escape from the hoverport rather than from the garage. Like they pick weird things to give different names, make it seem sci-fi, but the whole rest of it, it's all like using like colloquialisms and normal phrases. It's just, I don't know.
No, it's great.
I find it quite silly. I did love that they found a way to incorporate the title of the episode into the the dialogue.
He will be the last son of Krypton.
Yep. Well done, guys.
Nailed it.
Did it.
Fade to black.
Yeah.
Movie's over.
Yeah. Off Superman goes. And since we do have two more to talk about, I think real quick, we'll go ahead and put in our bat plug here. So it's a podcast I have not yet listened to. It's relatively new to the network. It's called Cite This. And so every episode they go through and like they'll do like a Wikipedia dive on something. So one was on like gods, another was on prohibition, another one's on like really lavish displays of wealth. It looks really interesting. I haven't listened to it yet, so I'm going to go do that. But you guys should as well, and here's the promo for it.
Hello, I'm Sean Christopher.
And I'm Kyle Cecina.
And we are the co-hosts of Cite This Podcast, the Wikipedia of podcasts.
Each week we dive into the nethers of the online Wikiverse, exploring the weirdest articles and even weirder lists.
From top secret government projects to wild fears and phobias to over-the-top Star Wars backstories, we got it all.
With special guests in comedy, comics, and more, you won't want to miss it.
So come on and dive down the rabbit hole with us every Wednesday on SoundCloud and iTunes as part of the Nerdist School Network.
And there it was.
Wow.
So
That sounds really cool, though.
Yeah, I have to go check that one out. So now we'll move on to our other two episodes, and we haven't quite gotten to Metropolis yet.
Right.
But we do get to Smallville.
10 minutes of Smallville.
Lots of
I even wrote in this this would make a great TV series.
Right. I did think it's interesting that this is, I think, the first time I've ever seen his pod not crash land. Like, it arrives and it just lands perfectly.
Oh, yeah, it's like a smooth landing.
Perfectly smooth.
Which makes a lot more sense, having a baby inside.
It does, yeah. I mean, I actually always liked the way that they handled that in Smallville, having the ship get disguised amongst a meteor shower, and the meteor shower explains where the kryptonite comes from.
Right.
I always thought that was actually a really clever way of addressing that, especially
Yeah, absolutely.
in, like, a modern retelling of it. Like, you know, we have fucking satellites and stuff. Like, you think we would see this coming down.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in this, it seems like they're alluding to the fact this might be around, like, the 80s. My guess,
Yeah, I would say
Jonathan
late
mentions-
70s, early 80s.
Yeah,
'cause
Jonathan
it's
makes
Cold
mention
War
of, like, the Cold
still-
War
yeah.
sort of stuff.
This could be from Sputnik.
Exactly, he makes a Sputnik comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he lands there, and Martha's like, "No, we're going to keep him.
He's mine.
He's mine." And I love that
Named Christopher.
Yeah, the name
Christopher Reeves.
Yeah. So do you know the three names and what they're referencing?
I only remember them saying Christopher.
Okay, Christopher, obviously Christopher Reeve. They mentioned Kevin, which is probably a reference
Conroy.
to Kevin Conroy, of course. And the last one is Kirk, and Kirk Allen was the first actor to play Superman in, like, one of the old live action.
Oh, okay. Before George Reeves.
Before George Reeve.
Reeve. Sorry.
Yeah. How dare you?
It's a conspiracy, Chris. He was murdered.
Wait, wasn't he murdered though?
Yeah, but the police report said suicide.
Oh, okay.
And there's a whole movie about it.
Hollywoodland.
Yes.
With Ben Affleck. Because he plays George Reeve.
Yeah.
He's the only actor, I think, to play both a Batman and a Superman, technically, kind of.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
The things you know. But yeah, so then we get to see Clark as a teenager.
I love it.
And Lana refers to him as a genius.
Man, I love it. There's something about, like, superheroes in school that's just so entertaining for
That's why
me.
Spider-Man's been so popular.
Spider-Man, Sky High.
Sky High is actually pretty good.
It's so good, Chris.
I haven't watched it
So good.
more or less since it came out.
Don't.
Don't go back. Don't go back.
Don't find the holes in it, Chris. Just
I mean, but if it's entertaining, you don't really care about the holes.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining.
It's like Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are
Anyways.
other examples? The 6 episodes of Dragon Ball Z where Gohan goes to school. Great.
Yeah, where does he move
so
on
great.
from that? I know you mentioned this beforehand. It took you a long time to figure out who the voice of young Clark was. Who was it?
He's amazing. It's Jason Marsden.
Who's in...
Not to be confused with James Marsden.
Not to be confused at all. Jason Marsden is in everything. Like
Everything.
I left his IMDb open so I can do some run-throughs here.
Mm-hmm.
He is in Young Justice as
Impulse.
Bart Allen, Impulse. He's in one of the new Transformers.
We've
Legend
already
of
mentioned one of
Korra.
the shows.
Yeah, Avatar and Legend of Korra, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, barely. I was going for his main roles. Impulse is a pretty main role.
Yeah.
Chester McBadbat from Fairly Odd
Fairly Odd
Parents.
Parents, yep.
And what I think, for me, he's most famous for, he's Max from Goofy Movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and he is in a ton of stuff, and he's
Also, speaking of Back to the Future, he played Marty
in the cartoon,
in the early 90s cartoon adaptation.
Yep. He was Firefly in The Batman. He was Felix Renton in Kim Possible. I don't remember who that was.
He was the guy in the wheelchair. I had to go back and double check that one.
Yeah, I didn't.
He was in like 6 episodes.
He wasn't one of the villains, right?
No.
Okay, it's the villain.
No, he helped fight Motorhead.
Okay, we've talked about that before. That like
Kim Possible has
a great rogues
one
gallery.
of the best rogues
Yeah.
gallery.
Oh, he's Snapper Carr in Justice League.
Yes.
The newscaster who's in everything. Also, he's Richie in Static Shock.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other one. That's the other big one I forgot.
Yeah, I'm just like rolling through here. No, he's in fucking everything. So it's always fun to see him get thrown in there because I like him a lot. He does good work. That
Yeah.
Jason Marsden.
We're gonna go over 2 other big voice actors. Or for me, I have 2 other big
there's a
voice
lot.
actors
There's a lot of
to
really
talk about
incredible voice actors
episode.
in this. But I mean, I like the fact that Lana tells like, "Oh boy, genius!" Like he gets.
Do we
straight A's.
Does Lana come back? Because I love Lana.
I think she does. I know.
Okay. Because they like they say like, "Come on, Miss Lang, get it together."
Yeah.
And you think it's Lois, and they say Lana, and then the next scene it's Lois.
Lana!
Yeah, exactly.
I had to.
You had to. And the next scene it's Lois. And I would think as a kid watching this, that'd
What do
be
you mean the
very
next scene
confusing.
is Lois?
After the
goes-
explosion, it goes straight to
Metropolis.
where it's Lois Lane.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess it might be a little bit. It is kind of confusing to start with. You got Lana Lang and Lois Lane.
Yeah.
But I think she makes a brief appearance in. There's an episode of the Legion of Superheroes
Okay.
with a young Clark. I'm trying to remember if she ever comes to Metropolis.
So I
don't
loved her in
remember.
Smallville.
Yeah, and like, look, Smallville.
That's my only reference point. So
Smallville
you're going to hear a
has-
lot of Smallville talk.
Smallville has its weaknesses. I think that it started out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think the middle kind of tapered off. I actually think the latter seasons, when it was basically him just being like proto Superman, are actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
And I've probably said this here
As
before.
the Blur.
As the Blur, yeah. I think I probably said this here before. I think Smallville so far has had the best Lois and Clark dynamic of any Superman property. Mm-hmm. Like they really nailed how that relationship should work. And I think this comes close, but then she basically disappears during Justice League, and so he kind of loses it a little bit.
She's in one episode.
Like the last episode.
Is it just the last episode? I
think
thought she's in the.
just
No, she's in the Parasite episode. I want to say, not Parasite. Sorry, the
where
Where it's all
Superman
the-
dies.
yeah.
I think she makes an appearance there. Yeah, but she's basically gone. But no, I mean, we'll be talking about Smallville as we go along. You probably have better
Yeah.
memories of it than I do. It's been a while since I've watched it. What were we talking about? Oh, right. But yeah, so he like as a kid, he's starting to develop X-ray vision, hearing, speed. He does his first rescue of like a runaway
that was cool.
camper.
I
into a gas
enjoyed that you
station.
get to see him like not worry about people seeing him use his powers. Like
Yeah.
he does vocally say like, "I don't want to be a freak. I don't want to be different."
Yeah.
But it's cool to see him like when someone's in trouble, he will immediately cast that aside.
Well, what I loved is after he goes in, like saves that runaway van, and he's like, oh, I like, what is this? Like, I have all these powers, and that's when Jonathan finally shows him the crash ship, and he's like, wait, he doesn't know how to process it. Like, he doesn't want to be a freak, he doesn't want to be a weirdo, and he runs, and then as he's running away, that's when he discovers he can fly, and then all of a sudden he's super happy, and like that kind of sums up what makes Superman great in like a moment, right? Is that he is both completely aware of the fact that he's different from everybody, but that difference makes him incredible, and he does love it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like he's always been to me the superhero that kind of like along with Spider-Man would love who he is. Mm-hmm. Like I've never quite gotten this idea that like if you are Superman, you would never give up being Superman to become Clark Kent.
Right.
You would give up being Clark Kent to become Superman all the time.
Yeah.
So that's a plot point from Superman 2, and it never made any damn sense to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I forget you haven't seen these things.
I haven't.
So, yeah.
No. Well, I mean, that was the whole plot of Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, and Spider-Man 2 is basically a remake of Superman 2.
Okay.
In the same way that Spider-Man 1 is basically a
There's
remake
also a giant
of
octopus
Superman
in,
1.
in Superman 2.
There is. Yeah.
That's cool.
But I mean, like, we should actually go and watch the original Richard Donner Superman at some point. Because, I mean,
I own them all.
Okay, yeah.
Just sitting on my shelf.
Every filmmaker who makes a superhero movie at some point basically references that. Like, Kevin Feige has said again and again, like, that's the movie that really shaped his perspective on making superhero movies. And you see its influence in Batman and X-Men and Spider-Man. Like, it has a lot of faults, but you can see where the structure came from and why it works really damn well.
Okay.
So we'll do...
Well, we'll talk about
Maybe
it.
do like a bonus episode on that at some point. I don't know.
But yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of the end of Teenage Superman.
Yeah, because he like gets a little hologram thing that he briefly gets to meet holograms of Jor-El and Lara, and then I think they're just basically just cut straight to him.
Yeah, so then he flies, and
Yeah.
then he's like, "Mama, Pa, look what I can do!" And then it jumps straight to him being in Metropolis. There's, I would say a 10-year jump. They don't ever say a time jump.
They don't say how long, but yeah, probably about 10 years.
That was the reason that I was confused, was because you only hear
right.
Lana's name once,
That's true.
and then it immediately jumps to Lois.
Jumps over to Lois, yeah. Because when we go to Metropolis, our first introduction is a newscast, and this is a small thing, but on a color TV. Well, there's only been
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's
all
only been-
all of
Gotham
Batman's in
is
black and
yeah,
white.
Black and white. So it's the first like color television, and so it's
That
like,
LexCorp, they know
I
what
know
they're doing.
they invented color TV way before Wayne Enterprises could.
Yeah.
Did you catch who was the voice of the newscaster?
I did not.
Lauren Tom. We just did this. voice of Amy on Futurama.
Oh yeah,
Lauren Tom has been in like kind of like a Jason Mars in every cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she played Julie in the early seasons of Friends, one of Ross's love interests.
Okay,
Yeah, but she's been in like every show.
That's
every
awesome.
every cartoon, just like Jason Marsden. She's awesome.
I mean, I always say there's like 10 voice actors.
Oh yeah, and this series hits them all pretty much. Lauren Tom, Kevin Michael Richardson, Jason Marsden.
Just waiting for that Tom Kenny.
Yeah, is he? I don't know. I forget.
Tom Kenny?
I don't know if he's ever in DCAU though.
I don't know.
We'll find out
We'll find out
at some point.
Tune in next time.
Tune in at some point. But so we haven't met Superman properly yet, but there's all this talk about like some guardian angel, like this little girl falls out a window and some blue guardian angel with red wings comes and saves her. And Lois sees this and she sees that her like front page or her story about like the biggest gun running operation in Metropolis in years got kicked off the front page for like some fluff piece about a guardian angel.
Yeah.
And she ain't having it. Now, did you recognize who the voice of Lois is?
No.
Dana Delaney,
That sounds very familiar.
Andrea Beaumont.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we talked about it.
Yeah.
In Phantasm.
That's right.
But again, you've seen the movie like twice.
Yes.
So,
I'm just more excited for the other two people.
Okay. Now, we literally just talked about this. Did you recognize the voice of Perry White?
No, I'm waiting for Jimmy.
Gotcha. Okay. George Zunza, who was the doctor from Sub-Zero and is also the voice of Ventriloquist.
Okay.
We talked about this last week.
Last week was a long time ago, Chris.
Okay. So, Cameron, who is the voice of Jimmy Olsen?
David Kaufman.
Who is also...
Danny Phantom.
I know.
Oh,
Yep.
what a man. What a man, Chris. He's also Freakazoid's alternate identity.
Oh, that's right.
Whose name I forgot.
Yeah, I forgot that too. I haven't seen Freakazoid since it came on back in
Neither
the day.
have I.
That'd be an interesting one to drag out and see how it holds up.
I have friends that have rewatched it and they said it's still amazing. Because it's just so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the same creative staff that did Tiny Toons, did Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah.
It would be fun to go back and revisit. That'd be a good Comic-Con costume, actually.
Yeah, one year I saw a really good Freakazoid.
Yeah. Think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can do it.
I can do it. But first, we got to do Shirtless Batman, Shirtless Roz.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
true. I have to keep losing that weight.
Just keep going to the boxing gym, man. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
So we have this Superman, or we have this fluff piece. Lois isn't having it.
Mm-hmm.
Perry White's like, oh, also, we have a new reporter that's
Yeah.
going to help you. His name's Clark, standing right behind you.
Yeah.
Work with him on this LexCorp story,
Yeah, so they go to...
which is definitely not Iron Man.
No, they go to a weapons test. Do weapons tests ever actually happen in real life? Because, like...
Probably,
Like
probably,
public
but
weapons
not
tests?
in the middle of New York.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the middle of the city, but I mean, even think back to, like, that happens in... Isn't it like Spider-Man 1, too? Don't they do, like, a big public weapons test? They do in Iron Man, obviously.
They do it in one. It's not a weapons test; it's the glider, and that's inside
yeah, but
Oscorp.
that's at a
Two
military bunker,
is
yeah.
yes. Two is when Doc Ock has like the fusion.
The fusion generator, yeah.
Yeah, and that's on the pier of New York.
No, that's not... That's in the middle of the city.
Oh, sorry, that's right. The
His
pier
first
is the
one.
finale. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like weapons tests don't happen in real life. Like, you never see on the news, like, oh, it's a big deal to, like,
When Iron Man, it
Boeing
makes sense.
is doing a weapons test. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's in the middle of the desert. Is where Iron Man does his.
Yeah, he's doing it in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
This makes perfect sense. But then again, I guess the reality, though, is in the real world, we don't have a figure like a Lex Luthor or a Tony Stark. We have, like, like a Jeff Bezos and these sort of guys, but, they're not also weapons manufacturers.
Yeah,
So,
and they're like weapon conventions.
yeah, that sort of thing. But it's not like people, like,
And then
like,
there's a whole black market thing.
yeah, you're not like stop someone on the street and like, oh, like who's the CEO of Boeing or something like that, right? Like,
Right.
Or of like Lockheed Martin. People don't know that sort of stuff. Maybe in the '60s, maybe, but not now. Anywho, there's a weapons test. Did you catch the name of the weapon itself?
No.
It's called a Lexosuit.
Ha.
I know, that's great.
It's cute.
Yeah, and then of course we get our first meeting of Lex Luthor.
What a man.
Who
What a man, Chris. Who is it? Tell me his name.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown.
So I didn't realize this. You told me.
His most famous role?
According to you,
The
his
role
most
he's been
famous
playing
role.
for 18 years alongside Tom Kenny?
Yeah.
Mr. Krabs?
Don't hold us in suspense. Yeah, Mr. Krabs.
Mr.
apparently.
Krabs.
But
Mr. Krabs is Lex Luthor.
But I mean, he's also so many other things too. I mean,
Nope.
I find that I didn't realize that that's what he was. That makes me really happy knowing that. But I mean, he's got so many live action roles too.
Yeah.
Which I'm slowly getting to. Oh, he was the Kragan or whatever, the villain from Highlander.
Good.
Yeah, that's a pull right there. He was in Shawshank Redemption. He's gonna be the voice of that big demon thing in Ragnarok.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Anytime you hear that gravelly voice, it's not as deep as Kevin Michael Richardson. It's usually Clancy
Or
Brown.
Michael Ironside.
Oh, that's true.
I think Michael Ironside passed away, I think, right? Like a year ago.
Don't know.
Doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, it matters. It matters. On the broader spectrum, but maybe not so much for this.
Not right now.
This rambling podcast. But yeah, like a whole bunch of thieves come and steal the Legzo suit, and that's our first like proper appearance of Superman.
Yes.
Because a giant beam is ready to fall on to Lois, and Clark swoops in. Well, not Clark. Superman swoops in and saves her. She's like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
this dude actually exists." So then he goes off.
Blur.
The blur. Yeah. So he goes off in pursuit of the thieves. Worth acknowledging, Metropolis way more advanced than Gotham.
Yeah, well, Lex mentions that at the end of the episode. Of like, I created Metropolis.
Right.
Like,
But
I
even-
own Metropolis.
Yeah,
so
and so
he said.
Metropolis is way more advanced. But even then, like these guys, we find out later kind of where they come from. But they're supposed to be like Kaznian rebels, and I know Kaznian shows up again a lot later in like Justice League. So maybe we
Yeah.
can assume that like it's
Because that's Killer Bee owns, not Killer Bee, what's her name?
Queen Bee.
Queen Bee,
I
thank
was
you.
about to say Killer Queen. It's not
She is a killer.
Queen.
Nailed it.
I know. God, I
Oh
love
man,
that
we're
song.
starting a band.
I know.
Next podcast, get ready for our band. We're going to sing the whole intro.
Dun, 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 dun.
Speaking of that, quick side note.
Yeah.
I do not like the intro song to this.
I don't really love it either.
No.
I'm not even a big fan of the whole intro in general. So it's basically just like a recap of the first few episodes. The episodes we're recapping now. It's just like exploding planet, baby in a rocket, teenager, he can fly. Now he's Superman. He goes up against Lex Luthor and robots and all these other things.
Yeah.
I don't love the intro.
No.
But I think for me too, the Superman theme is John Williams' Superman theme. I mean, the fact that it still pops up all the time is indicative of that, right?
Right.
I mean, it was used in Lego Batman. It was used in the Deadpool teaser, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the Superman.
It's so iconic.
It is. And and I get when you reboot something, you change things up. So I get like when they rebooted Batman, why they would have swapped for like Danny Elfman's for Hans Zimmer. Like they had to go for a totally different tone. I understand that. And there have been so many other versions of Batman that you can't really have like one theme. But like in the same way that when James Bond rebooted, they kept the James Bond theme. I really wish they had kept the Superman theme in this new iteration. I
Yeah.
get why they couldn't, but I think that might be the single greatest piece of music for me. Like in terms of like film music, like that's the one that every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, it gets you right in the heart.
Yeah, but even compared to the other intros, like obviously TAS has probably the best intro song.
Yes.
But then you have Static Shock, which is a great rap.
Yeah, I don't
and then you
remember it,
have
but-
you don't remember it?
no.
I'm not going to sing it.
No, don't. You should. You should. We'll get around to it.
JL and JLU have that like great
Yeah.
core, like the symphony, and it's amazing.
And like the Batman Beyond, too,
Yeah,
is like
and
this like
it's
high
like-
tech kind of high energy sort of thing. Yeah, this one to me is the weakest. I don't.
To be fair, I can't remember the Zeta Project theme.
So
we could be wrong.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen an episode of Zeta Project.
I don't think I have either.
So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't work for me. But again, I think part of it is because nothing will ever be as great as John Williams'
Yeah.
theme. I actually kind of like the Hans Zimmer Superman theme, but I don't love it.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not the same. What happens the rest of this episode here?
Superman chases down the Kaznians. And they shoot a missile, and Superman dodges it, and it hits an aeroplane.
And
oh no!
To be continued.
And commercial.
But we're going to pick it up immediately.
Yeah.
He saves the plane.
Yeah, like he does in every. Where did that start? Did that start with the Donner?
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 Not Jeffrey Dahmer. Richard Donner. Two very different people.
Are you saying Superman isn't created by a serial killer?
No, he is not. So, I mean, I'm trying to think what other places it's been used, because in the Donner film, he catches a helicopter. The Daily Planet helicopter falls off of the Daily Planet,
Okay.
and he catches it. And then, obviously, in Superman Returns, their homage to that is him saving the plane, which, look, I actually have a soft spot for Superman Returns.
Mm-hmm.
I get why people don't like it. You cannot deny, though, him saving the plane. That is an amazing
That's
sequence.
a great scene. It's a great way to intro a movie.
It's an incredible scene. Well, too bad. The problem, though, is it's not even an intro. Maybe if that actually started there, people would have loved it more.
Yeah. And then ended right after.
Ended right after. I get why people don't like it. There's a lot of things I actually do like about it. I've read the script. I've read like the novelization. There's a much bigger, better story going on there. Like there was a whole opening sequence. I may have talked about this before, where he goes back to Krypton and finds that it's destroyed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did talk about this before.
Yeah, and it's like in the script, and it's really, really good. And I get it would have really dragged the film out, and there are a lot of flaws with that movie, but I still think, I would argue it's actually, we still haven't gotten a great Superman film, but an argument can be made that
Live
it
action.
actually,
I think we've had some good animated films.
yeah, an argument can be made is actually pretty solid. So he does the same thing basically here as well. He catches the plane, and then Smallville ends with him saving Air Force One, right? The final episode is him. The first time he
so.
dons the suit, because you don't really get to see him in it.
Right. You see him in space in it.
Yeah.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, I don't really remember too vividly either. But anywho, but like
saves the plane.
Yeah, someone catches it on video, and so like they're at the Daily Planet, and there's a photo, and I love this line. Lois like, "Oh, nice S."
Yeah.
See this nice S right here on his chest.
Nice S.
Yeah.
Oh, she even like adds a little inflection to it.
Yeah. F.
Nice
yeah.
S.
Yeah. It's no Nightwing.
It's no Nightwing.
No Nightwing, but
all we have to compare it to is Batman right now.
That's true. But she coins the term Superman.
Yeah. Which is nice. I like when someone else coins the term for them.
Yeah. I think it works better in this.
In Batman Begins.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's the Batman.
Batman. I think this works better than in like Man of Steel, where it's just like, what's that S stand for? Superman?
Stands for hope.
That's so dumb.
No, I mean, the worst, I don't know if anything will ever be worse than Van Forstick.
Never seen it.
Oh, good for you.
How do they get their name?
It's the last line of the movie.
Of course it is.
Yeah. They're like, they go into their headquarters and they're like, oh, we need to think of a name. Like, well, there's 4 of us. It should be like something for the magic 4. Like, oh, and it cuts to credits.
So just like the end of Avengers 2.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Like, fuck you.
Oh god, that's how it ends. It's actually
yeah.
The character was literally just saying "fuck you" to the audience. They had to cut it off.
Right.
God damn it. But yeah, the world now knows about Superman. He goes and pays a visit to Mom and Pa Kent. He's like, everyone wants to like talk to me now, and he's like, oh, you can be like a symbol of hope, unlike that weird guy in Gotham City, which I loved.
I know. We get a nice Gotham City reference. We get a nice Flash reference.
Yeah. We get a Flash reference?
When Lois is on the phone in the car, she's like, yeah, I checked with Star Labs. They don't know who this guy is.
Oh, but I mean, Star Labs wasn't necessarily a Flash thing.
Oh, wasn't
like it is in terms of like the TV show, like they all work at Star Labs. I think Star Labs existed before the Flash.
Oh.
I always thought it was more of a
Learning new
Superman
things.
thing than it was a Flash thing. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. We'll find out.
Doesn't matter. Apparently,
someday.
Just stuffing this with useless trivia. Apparently, this is one of the few versions of a DC universe where Batman exists before Superman.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because in all the comics, usually Superman is around first. So, fun little bit there. Yeah, so he does an interview with Lois. She writes all about it. Clark suspects that Lex may have helped the things get stolen.
Yes.
The suit get stolen.
Very perceptive.
Yeah, he is. He kind of leaps to conclusions that really aren't there. I love Lex's office.
I don't remember very well.
So it's this huge chamber, and then he's got windows behind him, but on the sides of the walls is a massive shark tank.
Oh, that's cool.
There are literally sharks like swimming around his office, which is pretty awesome. We learned that Lois dumped him.
Yeah. When I read about this episode, the person writing it was very happy of like, I'm very glad that Bruce Timm and Paul Dini didn't ever lean on that story point, because we didn't need like a fight between two alpha males over who Lois gets.
I forgot that was even a thing. until I watched this episode again in this universe.
That's good.
Yeah. We get a whole bunch of other characters introduced real fast. So we learn that like Kaznia is like a country that has a trade embargo with the United States because they're like dickheads or whatever.
Right.
And there's a ship on the docks, and so Bibbo, do you know Bibbo?
Nope. Was he the sailor?
So Sailor, yeah, voiced by Brad Garrett.
Okay.
Good old Brad Garrett. Yeah, like Lois uses him to like get some information about like what might be on there. So she goes onto the ship and comes across John Corbin,
Who's Metallo?
yes, who becomes Metallo. Ah,
Yes.
see, you know something.
I got one.
You know
I got
some
one.
things. Did you recognize the voice of Metallo?
Nope.
It is Malcolm McDowell.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
He's in that thing. He's
didn't
in
he-
something in BTOS.
He was. Who was he, though?
That's a good question.
You talk. I'm going to look this up real fast.
So she's on the boat, and some stuff. Superman. This is what bugged me. There was a point in this that really bugged me. Clark is with Jimmy, and he's like, "Yeah, these are the photos that I used. That I tried to give to Perry, but he didn't take them." And Superman like uses his supervision into a photo to see the Kaznian flag. Kaznian. Sorry. Is Kaznia a real place, or is that a Marvel thing?
Kechnia?
Yeah.
Like not... No, I don't think so.
What am I thinking?
I don't know.
I think I don't know. Kaznia. He sees a flag.
Yeah.
And he's like, Jimmy, I gotta go. She's on a Kaznian ship. So this is what bugged me. I obviously don't know how well the DPI was in photos back in the mid '90s. You know DPI?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're a film person.
Yeah.
But you don't
It's
like
resolution for those who don't.
Yeah, dots per inch.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter like how good your vision is. At one point, you're just gonna see dots.
You see dots. Yeah, I mean, it's solid 70s like, oh, enhance that photo. It's like, well, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't make anything more high resolution than it already is.
Right.
Yes, I agree with you.
And that bugged me. I'm like,
I'm
Superman,
there with you.
your vision doesn't let you just like vectorize an image. That's not allowed. That's not a power you get. I've accepted every power up to this point. You can detach your side and make a clone. That's fine. You can sneeze and blow up a planet. That's fine. But you can't vectorize a pixelated image. That is bullshit, and I will not stand for it.
But he can probably learn how to do it real fast because he's a genius, and then he can't
Nope.
do it.
Don't care. I want to see
yeah.
you get on that computer and redraw that image by hand, and then maybe I'll accept that you can get away with that bullshit.
So he goes off of the ship, and just as Corbin's about to shoot Lois, he like smashes in and like stops the bullet. That is the second time that he saves Lois.
Yes.
Corbin jumps into the suit to start fighting. One of the henchmen pulls out a rocket launcher, but Lois turns around and saves Clark, or saves Superman, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
She like swings like a...
She's not a damsel in distress.
No, except for that it happens once more. That like because then Corbin points the gun at her and is about to shoot her, and Superman saves her once again. So
I don't know if you noticed this. Did Corbin look like an adult Johnny Quest?
yes, he does.
Okay,
he kind
good.
of does. Yeah, he does kind of look that way. Yeah. I'm thinking I'm going to see if I can try and track the number of times Superman saves Lois.
Oh, is that gonna be our count?
I
for the
have
series?
I have a few of them because like we were always talking about like Batman is always getting incapacitated in absurd ways.
Yeah.
I will say that Superman never gets incapacitated here. Never gets like knocked out. He gets slowed down by like gunfire and like boxes falling
Yeah.
on him and all this other stuff.
This series and the rest of the DCAU, it really weakens Superman.
It does.
Like
yeah.
you see him like regular bullets don't affect him obviously, but like high caliber bullets, he feels it. He can like it hurts him.
Yeah. So and I love his other weakness, of course, getting electrocuted because that even happens here. He's going to get electrocuted a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's the
in this
main
show.
thing between like I guess it's like magic is his other biggest weakness because that's when he fights Shazam and all that stuff.
Yeah, Shazam can actually take him. So yeah, I'm going to try and see if I can track the number of times he saves Lois over the course of the series, and also the number of times he gets electrocuted. But eventually, he does stop Corbin.
Yeah, just rips the robot apart.
Rips the robot apart.
Limb
and then
from limb.
He goes to see Lex, and Lex obviously is talking to like the buyer of the suit, the Kaznian buyer, the whole underground, like the whole whatever deal that all fell through. And Superman hears it all, but can't really prove it.
Yeah.
And Lex just gets so angry at him.
This is
he won't
another
say
thing
anything.
that really bugged me at Lex's office. The
What?
only thing I remembered.
Oh,
of
the
it.
windows just open.
He's on the top floor, and the top half. What is the point of that?
That the window's just opening like that.
Like, there's gonna be the wind would be so loud up there.
I know. Also, like, yeah,
You would never open that in a normal day. All your papers would just go flying.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like throw someone off the.
Yeah, I guess.
But he's more subtle than that. Let's be honest. He's a little more clever. Than
right,
just throwing a body
but
off
not
the
subtle
building.
enough to meet the leader of an annexed country in the middle of your office.
That's true. That's not a bad. It's not a bad. It is a bad. It's a.
That's fine. But like, I like to think that the second he saw Superman come in, he's like, I have an idea.
Yeah.
What if?
Real quick. Let's get. I feel like this guy's been stopped by a lot. Let's go ahead and have some retractable windows thrown in. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. But even for throwing people out, you'd want like both sides to open.
Yeah.
So then you just kind of push them.
That's true.
It's just the top half.
It's not very well
And
thought
I
out.
was thinking maybe like if he wanted to just look out and maybe I get some air, but it's taller than him.
Yeah, it's above
Like the
his
top
height.
half is still just
I
a
know.
little above his head.
It doesn't really make a whole half a lot of sense.
That's my nitpick of the day.
Well, that's not your only nitpick.
That's my two nitpicks of the
Two
day.
nitpicks. So yeah, so we kind of set up the dynamic of like Luthor and Superman are going to be at odds with each other the whole rest of the time. And it's not really a post-credit sting. It's pre-credits, but it has a sting at the end, which I really liked.
Yeah. Brainiac's back.
Yeah. He gets picked up by these really weird-looking aliens. There's a lot of really weird aliens throughout the course of Superman.
Yeah.
And like he like breaks out of his own satellite thing and kills them all and takes over their ship. Again, like it's alien blood's like purple, but it's like this big splash of blood hits the wall. Like this is a more violent version than the animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that might have had to do with this being on WB instead of Fox. Actually, that might have been a bit of a difference.
Maybe.
Because I think
I didn't think about that.
like when they did TAS, they went for an older Robin to avoid like child endangerment. By the time we got to Warner Brothers, they brought in obviously the second Robin, and Timm Drake had to be a kid. So I feel like they kind of loosened up a little bit on some of their restrictions.
And I'm sure it was also they just trusted Bruce and
That's
Dini
true.
more.
Yeah, because Paul Dini was one of the co-writers on this, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I know. And Paul Dini, we trust.
I did want to bring up a quick question.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think when you talk to anyone about the DCAU, the first thing they talk about is Batman animated.
Yeah.
Is BTOS. Do you think it's because this series was so serialized? Is that the right word? Where it's longer form storytelling? That because of that, they couldn't get the same level of
Like recognition for it.
no, I wrote the word down because I knew I was going to forget it. Syndication. They couldn't.
Oh.
Like Batman BTOS is so great because it's pretty much all one-off episodes.
Yeah.
Super easy to syndicate.
Yeah.
Like they were still showing that through, I want to say like 2006. It was still on Cartoon Network.
That is a good question.
And you
It could
can't really
be.
do that with Superman. And even with Justice League, I remember, in the mid to late 2000s, they would have an hour, the like superhero hour,
Yeah.
where they would show, because all the Justice League episodes are pretty much two-parters. They would show both parts,
Yeah.
so you never had to worry about like
It'd
what's
never-
going to happen,
it'd never
or like
really be
starting in a part
Yeah,
two.
it'd never be broken up.
Yeah,
That is a good question. I think part of it might just be that Batman is a bigger draw than Superman.
Yeah.
In general, it could be in terms of syndication that might be a factor, and also the BTAS is so
because
episodic.
no one talks about Superman the animated series.
And I feel like part of that is it gets lost in the middle, right? I mean,
Okay.
obviously everyone talks about BTAS because it set all of this up,
Right.
And having just gone back through it, it does hold up really well, and it is gorgeous. I mean, it is better than a lot of like modern animation, right?
Yeah,
But then, so everyone talks about that, and then everyone always talks about. I think like Batman Begins gets a lot of recognition because there hasn't been anything else like it. That it was a completely original storyline. That overall it's like pretty good, and that it hasn't really been done again. Like there's no other Batman Beyond stuff out there. There's comics. That's it.
Right.
So I feel like that's why that still gets a lot of recognition. It's also really fucking cool. And then I think people talk a lot about Justice League. I think they talk about Justice League maybe more than JLU a little bit.
I think from when I talk to normies, non-superhero fans, I
Right.
guess, I think they just kind of blend them together.
Because it does kind of blend together, and I think
Yeah.
that there's special episodes and special JLU people talk about. But I think by the time we got to Justice League and JLU, the storytelling had gotten so sophisticated, the animation is so good,
Yeah.
that I think a lot of the stuff in the middle does kind of get lost in the shuffle. I mean, a lot of people probably don't even know that Static Shock is part of this whole universe.
I know. It's
I know.
heartbreaking.
But I think Superman does kind of
And
get
even
lost in it.
New Batman.
Yeah, even
a lot of people don't. They would just think it's a continuation of BTAS.
Yeah, because it sort of is. So I think Superman just gets kind of lost amongst all of it because it's. Look, I mean, like these episodes too, they're fine. Like they're all like competent.
I think this was better than the start of Batman.
I'd agree. Yeah, like you can tell that they've learned a few tricks coming into this. Like they think through like more long form storytelling in terms of like they have like about a half dozen characters introduced in this that'll come back again later.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's not a lot of like Superman episodes that I think of like, oh my god, these are amazing. Like there's still Batman, there's still BTAS episodes we talk about. There's not a lot here because I think all of it's fine, all of it's good, it's all well made, but none of it's incredible.
Yeah,
I think that's part of it.
And I think that kind of goes back to the point I made at the beginning that Batman just has a more recognizable rogues gallery.
It does.
Like
yeah.
we even see that in this. They set up 3 villains, but our main villain of this is a robot. It's a giant robot.
It's just a guy in a robot suit, and that it kind of becomes a problem through a lot of the Superman the animated series. I mean, we do get some good stuff. Parasites, really good. Lobo's a lot of fun.
I fucking love Lobo.
Yeah. So Brad Garrett, who's Bilbo, also does the voice of Lobo.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, Superman does have some really great villains. I mean, the problem is that he is super powerful. So how do you square him off against someone that can do something with that actually makes him like a real threat? And I think Lex, when done right, is interesting because he can't just fight him toe to toe. That he has to come up with other ways of being a serious threat. He hasn't yet been done right in any of the movies. And I don't get me wrong,
including animated. We'll stick with live action for now.
Yes, in live action. Like I love Gene Hackman and I like his version of Lex, but Lex has always been like a criminal, and then of course we get to Batman vs Superman. They just made a mistake there as well.
Yeah,
because like Lex Luthor should still be imposing. Like, it's one of the things I like about this version.
What did you think of Smallville? I already just forgot his name.
Oh yeah,
Rosenbaum.
Michael Rosenbaum. I think he's the best live action Lex Luthor yet.
I love him.
And I
greatest motivation. Superman turned me bald.
Yeah. That's pretty stupid. That part.
I mean, that
but that's part of the
like
comic,
season
though.
3.
But like that's
true.
So
it only took 3 seasons for them to get over that.
Yeah, but I actually always liked that dynamic. I thought there was an interesting twist on it, having them be friends of sort. And they never got a chance to really get them to be great enemies because Michael Rosenbaum left.
I know.
Before, and he kind of came back to the end, and it kind of worked.
And they also focused too much on Lionel.
They did, yeah. I never really liked Lionel that much as a character.
No.
No, I think Rosenbaum is. I think Erica Durant's the best live action Lois. I think he's the best live action Lex. You can't. I mean, Tom Welling's great in that show. You can't really say he's the best live action Superman because he never really got to be Superman.
Right.
So, and I think that still has to be Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
Too in that one. Like, there's a lot of problems with his movies, but he is Superman. And he's great. So, like, overall, what'd you think? I guess we kind of talked about it, like, comparing this to the animated series. Like, watching it for the first time, like, having just come from BTAS to this, like, how did it feel?
I don't think it lived up to kind of the back half of season 2 of BTAS.
Agreed.
But where we started with season 1, I think this was, like you said, you can see the huge strides they made.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we're going to get some duds. But I don't think we're going to, like, I don't think we're going to get anything as bad as, Sewer King or the Unforgettable.
The Unforgettable Forgotten.
That's the one. Yeah.
It's unforgettable, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, you can see where they were still testing the waters back then.
Yeah.
And now they really understand, like, obviously with Superman, they have to change up the formula, but they still understand the core of what makes a superhero show.
Yeah.
And so I think a better start. I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
What did you think of the animation?
I liked it. I didn't have anything that really stood out as a problem or not.
No, I feel like there's a big leap here because even some of the latter episodes of BTAS were still a little meh at times. I feel like they did a big leap here in terms of getting the animation pretty solid.
The one thing I did question, because you see this very often with Superman, and it's not just this show; it's a Superman in general question. When he's a teenager and he flies, he has to like give a full leap.
Yeah,
and you see that I think in Man of Steel he does the same thing.
Yeah,
but when he's Superman, towards the end of this episode, he just kind of like slowly lifts off of like it's like rolls off his toe.
Yeah,
and I was thinking like, are his quads just made of metal?
Yeah,
or
man.
is it just like, did he kind of figure out how to do it without taking that huge leap? doing the whole up and away.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been one issue. It's like, how can Superman lift a heavy object when he's flying? Because he has actually nothing to, like, no opposing force.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work.
We're not going to get into the physics of that shit.
No.
There's too much to question about Superman.
Not worth it. But
Nope.
I'd say overall, it's good.
Yeah, I'm
pretty
excited.
good.
I'm very excited for the rest of the
Yeah,
series.
no, it'll be fun having you, like, not having seen this. And I've seen pretty much all of this, I think, at some point.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm excited about it.
53 more episodes. No, yeah, 53 more episodes.
Something like that. Yeah, and I forget. I think it might be season 3 might be when it becomes
crossover
Batman.
start?
I forget. So a little ways to go, but I'm happy. I've always loved Superman. I'm glad we're here. But we should probably talk about what we're plugging this week.
I think
we're still going to call them Bat Plugs.
Yeah.
We're still going to keep our theme, because I'm not going to ask my friend to record a new one for every show, and we'll keep our Bat Plugs. What are you plugging this week?
Hold on, making sure I got over all my notes. Yep. Yeah, got them all. What am I plugging? Well, we both saw Atomic Blonde.
Yes,
Which is great.
it is great. It is. We were talking about this a little bit after we saw it.
It's so deep.
Yeah, it's not. You watch the trailers, that kind of style and, like, that cool use of music and action is in the movie, but it is also, like, a genuine, like, twisty espionage thriller. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to call it slow. I was never bored. Never found it slow.
No,
like,
not
there's
at all.
always stuff going on. There's all this intrigue. I referenced the first Mission Impossible in terms
Yes.
of, like you look at that movie compared to where that series went. That first movie, there are some big action set pieces, but for the most part, it's this whole espionage thriller. Like, who's doing what? Like, can you trust anyone? That sort of thing. That's a lot of it in here. Maybe a little bit of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Did you ever see that?
No.
Yeah, that is actually slow,
Okay.
but the movie's better than. I'm sorry, people will be upset. That's probably, but the John le Carre novel is really fucking slow.
But I saw it twice.
Yes,
over
you
the
did.
weekend. And I'm glad, because I needed to see it twice. I didn't pick up on all the things the first time. And I was worried, especially after my first viewing, I was really worried that this was going to just kind of get washed off because we did have John Wick and we did have Baby Driver come out before this. But seeing it a second time, I really see it as its own independent thing.
Yeah.
And it's great. I highly recommend it for everyone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think like of the stuff I've seen recently, it's like Baby Driver and this, the two that I would recommend the most.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really
And Big
fun.
Sick.
Oh fuck yeah, of course, in The Big Sick.
Yeah.
that is an amazing movie. Yeah, like this just is a really good version of a spy thriller.
Yeah.
And Charlize Theron's amazing in it, as
always.
Yeah, as is McAvoy and Sophia Patel. Like, everyone's really, really great in it. So yeah, highly recommend.
Yeah.
Go to that. Anything else?
Do you have anything to plug?
I do.
You tell me what you have to plug.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
Okay,
for
you're
now.
good? All right. Yeah, we'll share that
I don't want to bog you down.
Okay. I just finished reading Mouse by Art Spiegelman.
Ooh, Mouse.
Yeah. Have you read it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's
Dark.
it seems odd to, like, say things like, "Oh, it's great," and all these other things, because it is
so
but
bizarre.
It is also really intense. So for those of you who don't know about it, it's so Art Spiegelman is basically, he wrote a comic detailing his interactions with his dad and his dad's retelling of his experience going through Poland during World War II and then ended up at Auschwitz. Mm-hmm. So it is really intense, and all of the Jewish characters are portrayed as mice, and all the Germans are cats. I think the Americans are dogs.
Because what's an easier way to lighten this story up
I know,
than adding some
right?
cute little animals.
Yeah, but I mean,
Tom and Jerry take on the Nazis.
Yeah, a little bit, right? But I mean, I think it helps, because it's the power of, I mean, it's nonfiction in essence, but it gives it this kind of fictional bend to it, which, I mean, the power of that is it gives you just enough distance to almost see it more objectively and just see obviously how fucking horrible this thing is. But actually what I love about it is the structure. I always thought it was just going to be like a comic set during that time period. But I mean, about half of it is him interacting with his dad as, like, an old guy.
Yeah.
And the complexities of that relationship, and, like, all the tension that kind of comes through there. And it makes you really care about the character as an adult. Like, he's an adult in World War II. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As a dad. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, also really...
If you want to be sad, you can read it.
Yeah. But I mean, it's always important, I think, to, like, understand a part of history you don't really know that well.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's really good. I'm probably gonna move on to something lighter to read next. Actually, I have the comic that Atomic Blonde is adapted
Oh, that's
from.
right.
I bought it at Comic-Con, so I haven't started yet, so it's not a plug this week. Next week,
It's Oni Press, so that means I have to go buy it.
Yeah, it's true. So you buy them. You buy everything.
I
they
gave
got.
so much money to Oni this year, as every year.
I know, but they do great shit, so you can't really hold it against them too much. But yeah, I think that does it.
Yeah.
Right? A little long today, but we had 3 episodes to talk about. But yeah, so if you want to reach out to us and tell us what you think about Superman in general, if you think he's a super boring character or maybe you love him, we are at Timm Talk Pod on Twitter.
What is
Facebook.
your favorite iteration of Superman, both live action I'm asking for the audience.
No,
I mean this would be they should tell us.
Oh, I thought you were asking me.
No, I wouldn't say this. I wouldn't add
Okay,
this.
yeah.
Let us
know.
talk about this later. Yeah.
What is your favorite version of Superman? Do you like the Man of Steel Superman, for example? We talk about a lot.
Ooh, I'm very proud of you, Chris. We made it through this whole episode, and you only did one small stab at Bat vs. Soups.
And that wasn't specifically Zack Snyder. It was just the space dildos.
Oh no, I was saying you with Lex Luthor.
I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyways, yeah.
You did it. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. I am at Lordifer on Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook and also on Twitter.
I'm at CamDexter_adventures on Instagram, and my art's at Cameron.Dexter.
Yeah, I have both yours in the episode description now.
Yay! Getting them followers.
I know. Yeah, we'll be back next week with more Superman. I don't remember the episodes specifically.
4 and 5.
4 and 5. But yeah, it'll be a good time. So
Yeah.
thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
The Nerdist School Network. For class and show information, visit nerdistschool.com.